But if every single player in the NHL got injured over the course of an 82-game regular season. So basically what I'm going to do in today's video is we're going to be putting the injuries all the way up for both the computer and the human, and we are going to simulate and see how that affects the NHL moving forward for multiple seasons. As I mean, if you have star players being injured, it's really going to hurt the team. So the injuries are on 100 apiece for humans and CPU. I also put the fatigue effect. Later on the video, I did end up putting the fatigue effect all the way up, so players got more tired, and in reality, you're more likely to get injured when you are tired. And we are just going to go on and simulate multiple seasons, seeing how this affects the NHL. See if we get some new Stanley Cup winning teams. I mean, I have the injuries on. The penalties are still 2 out of 4. The fighting is 2 out of 2, so we should see more fights, which in turn should create more injuries in the NHL, with the injury sliders maxed out as high as they can go, as we are going to go on and see how big injuries actually affect NHL 24's simulation over the course of a 5-year sim. So that is enough talking. Let's go right into the simulation. So at the end of year number 1, surprisingly, there were not actually that many injuries in the simulation. Now, again, I do not know if the gameplay sliders really don't affect simulation, just strictly gameplay. But like, a lot of these players are playing 80, 81 games. I mean, Matthews only missed 1 game, when in reality, in real life, he usually misses significant time at least every season. So Artemi Panarin is going to lead the entire NHL in scoring with 104 points, followed by passes 101. Kucherov had 97. Nathan MacKinnon was up there. Matthews had a good season. Draisaitl, McDavid. Jack Hughes played 78 games. So Jack Hughes' overall durability is 80, and he only ended up missing, I believe, 4 games. So like, is there any players that are actually missing a lot of games here? I mean, for the goal side, Matthews is going to lead with 63 goals, followed by Kyle Connors, 55. Kucherov had 51. McDavid was up there. Pasternak, Ovechkin, Patrick Laine, Breadman, Jason Robertson. I mean, 80, 82, 82, 82. They're playing the entire season, even with the sliders all the way up. I literally could not put them up anymore. This is, again, another problem with your game, EA. Now let's see if it affected defensemen a little more. I mean, Josh Morrissey's going to lead in scoring with 84 points. Adam Fox at 76. Dougie Hamilton was up there. Carlson. I mean, Cale Makar played 77 games. That's kind of a lot, honestly. Carlson had 75, so it doesn't look like they're missing that much time. Maybe a game here and there. It's not that big of a difference. For goaltenders, Markstrom's going to lead. Actually, it's going to be a 3-way tie for wins between Demko, Georgiev, and Markstrom, all at 40 apiece. And for shutouts, Jake Allen is going to take it. Him and Darcy Kemper are going to each have 6 shutouts apiece. Stuart Skinner is going to end up playing the most games as a goalie with 72. Now, auto-rotate goalies is on, so I don't know if it's just them rotating goalies, or maybe the goalies get more injured than the players. And here we go, year number 1. This is our playoff bracket. We actually have some pretty good matchups here in round number 1, like the Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames. The Boston Bruins and Toronto Maple Leafs are playing, as well as Tampa Bay and Montreal. So let's see who is going to go on and make the Stanley Cup Finals with the injuries all the way up. And in the Stanley Cup Final, to absolutely nobody's surprise, we have the Colorado Avalanche and Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, this simulation's not going as planned. I honestly thought we'd have very different Stanley Cup Finals matchups, but I guess we're not. But let's see who is going to go on and take home the Stanley Cup in year number 1, Colorado or Tampa Bay. And yet again, the Colorado Avalanche are going to prove why they are better than the Tampa Bay Lightning, just like they did in 2022 when they absolutely whipped them. Nathan MacKinnon is going to end up taking home the Conn Smythe, 14 goals and 27 points, a very dominant playoff run. And I mean, Colorado didn't really dominate Tampa Bay the way they did back in 2022. The series did go to Game 7, but in Game 7, I believe the score was like 9-3 or 10-3. I don't know if they put a 10-piece chicken nugget on the Tampa Bay Lightning's head. Here comes Colorado's captain, Gabriel Landeskog, who again is injured in real life, but here in the game, somehow he's going to make the entire season, play the entire season, and win the Stanley Cup for the Colorado Avalanche. So, predictably, Nathan MacKinnon is going to lead the entire NHL in scoring. Actually, him and Kucherov are going to tie at 27 points apiece. Kucherov was a -3, though. Very interesting. Rantanen had 25. Stammer was up there. Anthony Cirelli, Braden Point, Nick Paul, Makar, Patrick Kane, who signed with the Red Wings in my simulation. Artemi Panarin is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Matthews is going to take home the Maurice Richard. The Norris is going to go to Josh Morrissey. The Calder to Connor Bedard. Conn Smythe, of course, the Nathan MacKinnon. The Vezina to Jake Ottinger, and the Selke is going to go to Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers, who in real life are on a 6-game heater right now. Now for the sliders, I don't really know what else I could do. The injury occurrence is maxed out. I cannot put it any higher. Maybe I could put the fatigue effect way up to 100 apiece. Maybe the computers and the humans are easily more injured when they are fatigued, which kind of makes sense. I mean, in real life, hopefully now we get a lot more players injured. Of course, the injuries are on here. I am just realizing now that I did not even show the standings of last year's simulation. Oh boys, I'm sorry. I'm starving right now waiting for my food. So that could be a reason why I messed up, but don't you worry, I will not mess up again. So at the end of year number 2, the Dallas Stars are going to be the best team in the NHL, winning 51 games, followed by the Red Wings, who simulated very well yet again. The Rangers were up there, Tampa Bay, Colorado, 2 teams that made the Stanley Cup Finals last year. Vancouver was up there. At the bottom, we have Chicago, only winning 34 games, followed by the Blues, Flames, Kings, and the Sharks. Now, taking a look at the points leaders, Nikita Kucherov's going to lead the way with 107 points, also 68 goals, leading in that category as well. Also playing the entire season, 82 games, followed by Draisaitl's 100. McDavid had 97. Very funny considering his number is 97. Patrick Kane had 96. Still on the Red Wings, simulating very well. Ovechkin had 93. Suzuki 93. Braden Point had 90. Kaprizov 89. And Matthews 87. Now on the goals side, I mean, obviously Kucherov led the way. Other than that, though, Matthews had 49. Ovi 49. McDavid 44. Jason Robertson was up there. Timo Meier had 42, as well as Cole Caulfield's 41. Now for defensemen, I don't think too much is going to change. Cale Makar is having a great season, 21 goals and 87 points. Carlson had 84. Outside of that, though, most of these defenders are playing 82 games. For goalies, Ville Husso is going to lead in wins with 46. And for shutouts in the NHL, it's going to go to Carter Hart and Thatcher Demko at 7 apiece. Gorgiev was up there, Aiden Hill, Ville Husso, Allmark. And for our playoff bracket in year number 2, here are the matchups. And finally, in the Stanley Cup Finals, we have a new and fresh matchup as we have the Dallas Stars versus the New Jersey Devils. Let's see who is going to go home with the Stanley Cup and outlast the other team with all the injuries maxed out here in year number 2. And the Dallas Stars are pretty much going to dominate the Devils in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals to go on and win, I believe, their very first Stanley Cup in franchise history. Maybe they have one back in the day, but they definitely do not have more than one. I know that. But I can't remember if Dallas has won a Stanley Cup or if they haven't in their franchise's history. Despite that, they are going to get it done here in year number 2, as the Conn Smythe is going to go to none other than Jason Robertson, 10 goals and 27 points. A very good playoff run by him. What is he doing in real life? He's not doing that good, I don't think. What is up with Jason Robertson this year, boys? Let me know in the comments below. Is he washed? Has he fallen off? Is he not good as expected? And there's a Stanley Cup being raised in Dallas, American Airlines Center. It says it right up there in the corner. That's the only reason why I know that. Do the Dallas Mavericks also play in this arena? Or is it a totally different arena? Here comes Jamie Benn coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the Dallas Stars, as they are your champions here in year number 2. So for the playoffs, Jason Robertson is going to lead in goals with 10 and points with 27. A very good playoff run by him. Also played 22 games out of the 24, so he actually did end up missing 2 games in the playoffs, which normally you may not have seen if I didn't boost up the injuries all the way. Elias Pettersson is going to have 26 points. Matt Duchene had 26. Tyler Seguin was up there, almost point per game, as well as Joe Pavelski, Rope Hintz, Quinn Hughes. Nikita Kucherov is going to take on the Ted Lindsay, Maurice Richard, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. The Norris is going to go to Victor Hedman. The Conn Smythe, of course, to Jason Robertson. The Vezina to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And the Selke Trophy is going to go to, yet again, Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers.
Who ain't got defense?
So somehow at the end of year number 3, the Columbus Blue Jackets are going to be the best team in the entire NHL, winning 59 games. This is definitely something I did not think I was going to see in this video, but honestly, I'm pretty surprised and I'm kind of satisfied with it. Columbus definitely deserves this. Followed by the Toronto Maple Leafs, who also had 49 wins. Vancouver was up there. Tampa Bay, the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champions, Dallas Stars. God, I felt like Paul Heyman there. The reigning, defending defending. The Oilers had a very good season, as well as the Red Wings at the bottom of the NHL. We have Colorado, after winning the Stanley Cup in year number 1, are only going to win 35 games. See, this is what I mean about EA Sports, the simulation. It's just completely random in the actual simulation. The game time sim or real-time sim, whatever the hell you want to call it, actually factors in the attributes and effects of each team. What I mean, the season sim is completely 100% random, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Nikita Kucherov, yet again, is going to lead all skaters in points, this time with 99. Shout out Wayne Gretzky, followed by Connor McDavid's 96, Patrick Kane 95 and 37 goals. Pasta had 92, Ovi 91, Matthews was up there, Elias Pettersson. Now for the goals side, who is going to lead? It's going to be Matthews with 52 goals, followed by Alex DeBrincat, who had a 50-goal season. Ovechkin had 48, Marchand 44, Patrick Laine, a very good year by him. Connor Bedard had 42 at 18 years old. For defenseman, Josh Morrissey is going to lead in scoring with 84 points. Carlson was not far behind. Charlie McAvoy had 66. Dahlin was down there. Cale Makar only had 9 goals and 62 points. Now for goalies, Jordan Binnington is going to lead in wins with 37. Samsonov was up there. Merz Linkins, Vanacek. Now for the shutouts, Jonas Korpisalo is going to lead with 6. Freddie Anderson 5. Ottinger had 5. Allmark 5. Samsonov 5. And Grubauer 5. And this is our playoff bracket in year number 3. Do we have any interesting matchups? I mean, we have Toronto and Boston. That should definitely be a very good series. Tampa Bay and Detroit shouldn't be bad either. And in the Stanley Cup Finals of year number 3, we have the Edmonton Oilers and the Detroit Red Wings. A very interesting Stanley Cup Final matchup. One I definitely did not expect. I mean, if I can sit here and watch McDavid lift the Stanley Cup yet again, I will be happy. So let's see who's going to go home with the Stanley Cup here in year number 3. And the Edmonton Oilers are going to get it done here in year number 3 as they defeat the Red Wings in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals, as Draisaitl and McDavid, fuck it, even Darnell Nurse are going to get their very first Stanley Cups of their careers. Nugent Hopkins finally gets one after being in Edmonton for like 13, 14 years, and the Oilers are no longer a laughing stock of the NHL, as now they're Stanley Cup champions. The Conn Smythe, of course, has to go to Connor McDavid. 16 goals, 35 points. One of, if not the greatest player of all time. Obviously the most talented player. He just needs the hardware to back it up. Really only rings. He's got the individual hardware, but he just needs to win like 1 or 2 Stanley Cups, maybe even 3. And I think by the end of his career, he will probably be cemented as like a top 3 player all time. And speaking of the devil, here he is coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the very first time in his NHL career, as the Oilers have done it in year number 3. So now for the playoffs, Connor McDavid is going to lead in goals with 16 and points with 35. A great playoff run by him. And I mean, if you take a look at his playoff stats in real life, they're actually very good. I believe I saw a stat where in his last like 25 playoff games, he has 52 points, which I mean, if he played 25 games in a single postseason, that would probably be the greatest playoff run of all time, outside of maybe Wayne Gretzky. But 110 points in 74 games, all-star, superstar, all-time great level stats. Other than him, though, Leon Draisaitl, who also is known to be very good in the playoffs, had 31. Nuge had 24 and 11 goals. Patrick Kane, I mean, he just simulates so well in this game. Lucas Raymond had 22. Perron, 19. Nikita Kucherov is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy, while yet again Poppy is going to take home the Maurice Richard. The Norris is going to go to Josh Morrissey. The Conn Smythe, of course, to McDavid. The Vezina to Jordan Binnington. And the Selke is going to go to yet again McDavid, 3 years in a row. Now, at the end of year number 4, the Montreal Canadiens are going to end up finishing first in the NHL with 49 wins. So we are seeing some new teams actually end up being the best team in the regular season, which is nice. Maybe the injury occurrence is actually paying off. The Boston Bruins came in second place. Seattle was up there. Colorado, Florida, Calgary at the bottom. We have the Arizona Coyotes. Vegas had a very bad season. The Islanders and Buffalo, as well as the defending Stanley Cup champion Edmonton Oilers, 36 wins. Mitch Marner is going to end up leading the entire NHL in scoring with 110 points, followed by Nathan McKinnon's 109. Matthews was up there at 105. Nylander, 98. Kucherov, Pasta, as well as Alexander Barkov all had great seasons. Now for the goal side, Matthews going to lead yet again, this time with 59 goals, followed by Kucherov's 57. Bedard had 49. Robertson, 45. Evgeny Malkin had 45. Ovi to Brinkett, Svechnikov, Nathan McKinnon. Defenseman Erik Karlsson is going to have 85 points, leading out D-man. Quinn Hughes was 1 point behind with 80 84. Cale Makar, only 74. I have no idea how EA Sports cannot get these two guys, at least Cale Makar, to simulate very well in this game. Demko is going to lead in wins with 42, followed by Hellbuck's 40 and Grubauer's 39. And for shutouts, it's going to go to Ilya Sorokin with 7. And here is our year number 4 playoff matchups. And in the Stanley Cup Finals, we have a matchup between the St. Louis Blues and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I guess technically in real life, they kind of curved each other, as St. Louis won in 19 and Tampa Bay, of course, 20 and 21. So in this hypothetical matchup, let's see who's going to go on and take home the Stanley Cup in year number 4. And just like that, the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to rewrite the wrong that was year number 2 as they come back and dominate the St. Louis Blues in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. Of course, they lost in year number 1 to Colorado. They pretty much got dominated. Well, actually, they didn't get dominated. They went to game 7. Regardless, Stammer, Hedman, Kucherov, Braden Point are all going to get another Stanley Cup. So that now is what, 3? As Brandon Hagel is going to take home the Conn Smythe, 12 goals and 25 points. A very surprising playoff run. But I would not expect him to take home the Conn Smythe over guys like Kucherov, Stammer, Vasilevsky. Even an old and washed Victor Hedman, I would think, would have a better playoff run than him. But I guess I'm wrong. Here is Stammer yet again lifting the Stanley Cup for the Tampa Bay Lightning as they are going to take it home here in year number 4. So Braden Point is actually going to lead all skaters in points with 26. I don't know why I'm laughing at the fact that his name is Point and he leads all skaters in points. Brandon Hagel had 25, Stammer 25, Kucherov 25, Anthony Cirelli 23. So I have no idea how Hagel won it. I mean, he did have the most goals at 12. Mitch Marner is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy, while the Maurice Richard yet again is going to go to Matthews, the Norris to Quinn Hughes, the Conn Smythe, of course, to Brandon Hagel, the Vezina to Philip Grubauer, and the Selke yet again is going to go to Connor McDavid. So at the end of the 5th and final season, Boston's going to win the most games at 54, finishing as the best team in the regular season, followed by Colorado. Rangers are up there, Seattle, New Jersey, Vancouver, and Pittsburgh at the bottom. We have Florida, Chicago, St. Louis, who literally was just in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the Arizona Coyotes. So you can see here, this is literal proof that the EA Sports simulation is all over the place. I mean, if you didn't already know that, I mean, you should if you play the game. But maybe there's some new viewers watching that have never seen maybe any of my videos or don't even play NHL at all. Leon Draisaitl is going to end up leading the entire NHL in scoring with 103 points, followed by McDavid and Jack Hughes, who each had 100 apiece. Matthews had 95, McKinnon was up there, Breadman. Erik Karlsson had a very good season, 90 points. Now for goals in the NHL, McKinnon is going to lead with 48. Very low scoring, at least for this season. The leader is going to be 48 goals. Matthews had 47, Kucherov was up there, Draisaitl, Pasta, Connor Bedard had 39. Defenseman, we already know it's Erik Karlsson. Cale Makar had a pretty good year. I mean, 8 goals is kind of low, but 81 points is very good. Igor Shesterkin's going to lead in wins with 42, followed by Georgiev's 39 and Freddie Anderson's 37. Now for shutouts, it's going to go to John Gibson and Cam Talbot. And here we go. This is our 5th and final playoff run. Here is the bracket. And in the Stanley Cup Finals, for a 3rd time in the video, the Tampa Bay Lightning have made it, but this time they're up against the Vancouver Canucks. Let's see who is going to take home the Stanley Cup in the 5th and final season of the video. And sadly for Canucks fans, they are not going to see their team lift the Stanley Cup, and again, another Stanley Cup Finals that their team made, and they just end up choking to the eventual back-to-back Stanley Cup winners, which are the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, they made 3 out of the 5 Stanley Cup Finals in the video, and they're going home with 2 Stanley Cups as well. Tampa Bay is just a juggernaut of a team and simulates very well in this game. Even better than they did last year, which is kind of weird, but Braden Point is going to end up taking home the Conn Smythe, 8 goals and 26 points, a good playoff run by him. So Brandon Hagel won it the first time, and now Braden Point. And there it is, the Stanley Cup yet again being raised in Vancouver, but this time not for the Boston Bruins, but for the Tampa Bay Lightning. As here comes their captain, Stammer, coming to lift the Stanley Cup for, I believe, the 5th time in his NHL career? No, it's actually the 4th time, as he has 2 in real life and now 2 in this game, as Tampa Bay yet again are dominant in the simulation, even with the injuries all the way up. Leon Draisaitl is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy, while the Maurice Richard is going to go to Nathan McKinnon, the Norris to Eric Carlson, the Conn Smythe, of course, to Braden Point, the Vezina to Linus Allmark, and the Selke for 5 years in a row is going to go to Connor McDavid. And that is going to do it for this video, boys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Unfortunately, I don't really think that putting the injuries all the way up affected the NHL that much. I mean, we did have some new teams end up finishing first in the regular season, but as far as the Stanley Cup and taking it home, we saw the regular teams dominate, especially Tampa Bay. Even though the injuries are all the way up and they are a pretty old team, they are somehow still going to survive and win 2 Stanley Cups, making 3 Stanley Cup finals. Let me know in the comments what I should do next. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.